I think there's a little bit of a misconception about guitars like this. Like, you know, travel guitars, super short scales, these little compact, headless wonders. And I think that misconception is that these guitars are meant to be cheap, somewhat disposable, the kind of thing that you throw on an airplane and you don't get worried if something bad happens to it. I think that Island Guitars is setting out to kind of undo a lot of those misconceptions about what this kind of guitar can be. This is an incredibly high quality instrument, phenomenal build quality, wonderful vintage inspired shape, and just a joy to play. These Mojo Tone lipsticks are phenomenal. The neck on this, the fretwork, it's all great. And I have found that over the last couple of months of having this guitar with me here in the studio, that I have become very attached to this instrument. I find that when I am walking around the house, just working on stuff, and I want to pick something up and sketch an idea out, this is a guitar that I reach to for those moments. When I'm working on an orchestral score on my keyboard behind me, I am a terrible keys player. And so when I'm trying to put together melodies and everything, I find that I usually reach for a more familiar style of instrument to kind of build structure in a piece that I'm working on. And this is the guitar that usually sits on my lap, where I can sit there with my keyboard and quickly sketch out a melody, return to the keyboard. This guitar has proven to be an incredibly useful companion both in the studio and on the road, because at the end of the day, this is still a travel guitar, and it's a damn good travel guitar. It's so nice to have something like this that when you go somewhere, you can throw this in your car incredibly easily. You can stick it, I mean, you could stick this in a reasonable sized backpack if you don't mind the headstock sticking out. I wouldn't recommend it, but like, it's an option. And to get to where you're going and to have a guitar of this caliber with you is a really, really nice feeling. And that's especially valuable for somebody like me. I have a 2-year-old. If we're going an hour and a half away for one night, 2 nights, my car is already full with stuff that isn't mine. So if I can get just a sliver of space carved out, it's not going to be much more than this to bring an instrument with me. And that intro piece that you heard for this video is exactly that. It was a weekend away with my wife and my 2-year-old up in Lake Tahoe. And all I brought was this guitar and a bus-powered interface and my laptop. I recorded everything on that intro song direct in with the guitar, and reamped it all when I got back home to my studio. I could have used amp plugins, stuff like the Neural DSP plugins, that kind of thing. But instead I decided to just kind of like get my ideas sketched out with the most minimalist setup possible, and then kind of like revisit the idea and really sketch out what it should look like when I got home. And I gotta say, I'm really pleased with those results. This created a very frictionless writing environment. Okay, so that's a lot of talking about what this guitar means to me. Let's talk about this guitar a little bit. You have a volume tone setup right here that is stacked. You have your tuners down here at the bottom, which are, it's a little unwieldy to kind of like feel like you're tuning like this. It feels a little unnatural, but the secret here is you don't have to tune this guitar very much. I find that these tuners hold tune arguably better than most of my other guitars, which is incredibly wonderful, especially for something meant to be kind of versatile and grab and go like this. These Mojo Tone pickups, these lipsticks are absolutely wonderful. They've got beautiful clean tones. As you heard just now, that's the Benson Germanium Boost, the Bondi 2026 compressor, the Chase Bliss Gravitas tremolo, the Timeline, and the Big Sky. And in that middle position right there, you just have it sings. It's very lush. The size of this body does not diminish the size of the sound you can get out of it, which is really wonderful. So let's give this guitar a quick listen just in terms of pure dry tone. So we've got everything turned off. We're just running into our amp, which is the Ruby 63 by Universal Audio. Okay, let's bring in the preamp, the Benson Preamp, and the Germanium Boost, or the Gravitas, and some kind of ambient sounds. And Benson Preamp. Mark from the future here. I just wanted to pop in, having now edited all of the sound samples and audio and songs and done all my reamping, and just say one more huge thank you to Island Guitars for sending this guitar out for as long as they did. Getting to live with it for a couple of months really let me really get my hands around this thing and kind of see how versatile it can be. It does that really pretty, sparkly, clean thing well. It does that more aggressive thing really well too. And I just found that it was an incredibly fun instrument to have here in the studio, and I miss it dearly. So we're going to go on an outro here, highlighting some of the heavier tones that I was able to pull out of this Espeto. Again, if you want to check them out, I highly recommend you take a look at their website and follow them on Instagram. I'll put the links down below. And again, thank you to Island Guitars, and until next time.